All right. Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you are. It's Taco Tuesday. I love Taco Tuesday. I'm Brandon. Nick. If you haven't met us yet, we run this group, and I'm a personal trainer and a fitness nutrition specialist. I'm also a physical therapist assistant.
You do some things.
I do some things. Nick is even more awesome than I am, so I'm going to let him.
I don't know about that.
Himself. Oh, come on.
I'm Nick. I also do some things. We're having a really strong start here today.
Oh my God! Sorry. Sorry, I forgot to turn the. In case you're wondering what I was doing, I was like trying to bring up the comments here, and then I forgot to turn the volume off. So sorry about that. Yeah, we're killing the timing.
Yeah, we're doing great.
What's our topic today?
So diet versus exercise. So I posted a question the other day, and I just asked our group, what's more important, diet or exercise? And
dude, we got awesome responses. We got really good responses.
Yes, we did. Yeah,
insightful.
And I think it was because we got such good responses. It was perfect. It basically, everybody who answered, you basically made this for us.
Yeah, right. That's kind of how I felt about it too. I was like, oh, well, like, look at this. Like, they get it. So,
what are we here for?
Like Mo, Lydia, Joanne, Myra, Belinda. Like, there were some really, really awesome answers in there, and yeah, that's how I know this group is doing what we intended it to do, Nick. Like,
yeah, seriously,
you guys made some really, really key points. And those kind of answers, yeah, they tell me at least that you guys are really, really getting it. So, diet versus exercise. I'm just going to ask you the question, like, Nick, what do you think if you have to choose one? I know it's a totally loaded question, right?
If I had to pick one, so yeah, it is loaded. Okay, so if I have to pick one for me,
or maybe just share your thoughts. You don't have to pick.
Okay. Yeah, well, my thoughts. Yeah, so you can see I'm struggling a little bit. Obviously, it's
because there's so much.
Yeah, it's super vague, right? It's not super vague. Okay, if you are trying to lose weight, diet. If you are trying to gain exercise or gain muscle, let's say, or lean, become tones, trim down, I think probably both. If you both are probably equally important. If you are simply trying to, I don't know, if you're trying to maximize your overall health, you have to attack both. But if I had to pick one, like you can do one or the other, I would go diet, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm gonna go with you. I'm with you on this one. So, so when when you're a personal trainer, right? People approach you all the time to work them out, right? They just want to trade like time for money. Like, I'm going to show up, you're going to give me workouts, and for an hour,
and it's going to fix all my problems.
Yeah, and it's good, right? And that comes with that like perhaps subconscious sometimes, but I think other times it's not so much. People really think that as long as they pay and they have a trainer, they're going to achieve their goals. Mm-hmm. And that goal usually is, at least on the surface, is weight loss. Mm-hmm. Right? And what any good trainer or coach understands is that, 3 hours, even 3 hours of training, even seeing that person 3 days a week, which is a big amount of money.
That's an investment, yeah, in a lot of ways, energy, money, and especially, time.
They're still not going to get what they want.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Right? After doing it years and years on my own, I'm not saying I didn't get results as a trainer, and I'm still getting results as a trainer, but it's definitely, there's a level of so there's something that's missing. There's something that's missing because when we're together, we're just focused on exercise, right? We might talk a little nutrition, but there's nothing going on.
Right. Well, your time is taken up with just the exercise part,
Mm-hmm.
which is ultimately, if we're being honest, like there's no amount of exercise that you can give someone face to face as a trainer, realistically, for the money, right? Mm-hmm. That is going to give somebody the results that they want. That's going to get them there alone.
Yeah. So I'm going to intercede back here again. You have a really great story that has to do with this. I don't know if you were planning on talking about this today, or even if you want to talk about this today, but that guy that, he had a lifestyle and he wanted to live it. And that meant a lot of food and a lot of beer. And do you know what I'm talking about? Obviously,
yeah.
I don't know.
I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that'd be a great story for right now, right?
Yeah. I mean, it does. It makes sense. So, to give you a little background on that, if you're watching, I had a friend who that was his goal. He wanted to come in. He wanted me to basically train him enough that he could get away with drinking craft beer, quite a bit of it, every day, and still have the body he wanted. And so as a friend and like an interested party, I agreed. So yeah, I tortured him. I mean, we just worked him down to death. And it was brutal. And it was, at the end of the day, I mean, at the end of our time together, because he returned, it was just completely unsustainable. Like not even close. We got good results. And now looking back, I'm like, man, imagine the results we could have got if he hadn't been drinking all that beer.
Or if he'd just taken a step back from it, not even
if
like
he just cut it back.
Yeah.
And that was the thing, he's like me. He's like,
what comes along with beer, food, and then there's, other things that have to do with metabolism and the metabolizing food and beer at the same time. And that creates a different, or beer, not even beer, just alcohol in general, that goes in a whole nother realm we don't need to talk about right now. But there's a lot of things happening inside your body during that time as well that have to do with fat creation.
Right. So long story short, like he could not keep it up with the exercise. It was just way too much. And he didn't change any of the other areas of his life. And ended up going back the other direction until, he came back in, I brought him back in, and we did things the right way. He's had some fantastic results. I mean, really, really life-changing, but life-changing. He did have to change his lifestyle surrounding how he ate, and that's what ended up making the difference. So I don't want to take up a ton of time here talking about that. Why don't we get into let's talk a little bit about the benefits, I think, of exercise.
Sure.
Right? I'm gonna let you take
I'm just gonna take over. Yeah, you good with it?
Yeah.
Right. So there's a ton of things that actually we're going to split it. We're going to split this here. So, okay. When it comes to strength training, right? So there's a ton of stuff when it happens to do strength training. I did a little bit this morning. Fantastic. I feel way better about my life than I did yesterday, because I was really struggling yesterday.
Yes.
So there's mental benefits to all this, which gets your mindset rolling. That's a whole nother, we've done lots of talks on mindset. But when it comes to physical attributes, when you're feeling good about yourself, and going to the gym consistently, and you're doing that strength training, actually, it'll increase your metabolic rate over time, which we were just talking about, right? Metabolism. So when your metabolism is turning up, you're actually burning more calories over time, even when you're at rest. So, so for example, like a really good perk of strength training is, from one like going to the gym, you have one really good workout. For the next 3 days, you can burn an additional 300 calories. Even if all you do is sit on the couch, you're just burning an extra 300 calories, or up to that point.
Up to, right.
Yeah, up to that.
Okay.
So
that is pretty high, right?
Yeah, that's significant. So if we don't need to jump into a bunch of math here, but I'm gonna.
Oh,
If 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories, which it is, and you are just for 3 days in a row, you're burning an additional 300 calories just from a workout you did 4 days ago. That's 369. That's 900 additional calories towards that pound that you don't have to worry about. That's fantastic. Now pair that with a little bit more exercise. Think about what's happening here in this situation. You're just compounding. You're creating a significant deficit, right? And that's what it takes.
Yeah. Agreed. For me, I think you hit the bigger points. For me, the calorie part of exercise is probably the smallest benefit to me.
Agreed.
It's there.
100%.
It's there.
Yeah, it is there.
Not to take away from what you just said, but it's, I'm going to get a little more into numbers in a second as well when we talk about the diet. But I know you're like, damn it, the numbers, Brandon.
No, I did it. It's your turn.
But you started out really like hitting the point that I wanted to make about exercise. It is super important for our mental and emotional state. That's kind of the biggest thing. Now going down, below the, neck, the functional purpose of exercise, the benefits of exercise, in terms of how we move and being able to maintain the types of functional movements we need to be able to do into, our later years, tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are kind of the bigger things. That's really where I want to stress the importance of exercise. But pertaining to, the goal of weight loss, which is generally what people are wondering about,
Mm-hmm.
I think the mental benefit and the emotional benefit of exercise is what really is motivating for people when it comes to, the other changes that they have to make. If you're not moving, you're not getting a lot of those neurotransmitters that are so important for us to feel good about the other changes that we need to make in our lives.
Yes. So that goes back to like, if I worked out, I'm going to make a cleaner, more healthy choice for dinner because I don't want to ruin that workout.
Right. Yeah.
We should kind of go into that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely part of it too. Just kind of cognitively, like that just makes sense logically.
Mm-hmm.
I should say.
And you're more motivated to do that because of that workout, and you feel good about it when you're done with it.
Right. You just plain feel better. I mean, there's you're releasing those endorphins and those neurotransmitters that make you feel better. You don't even need to have a logical reason. It's just your brain telling you, hey, you feel good.
Yep.
That makes everything easier. Right?
Yeah. So what I said about the additional calories, that's essentially a perk. It's a fantastic perk, but it's just a perk.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what do you think? Getting into diet a little bit here?
Yeah, absolutely. Since I kind of claimed that was the most important one.
Yeah, we better address it. So you brought up, I mean, just from the straight calorie standpoint, it makes way more sense to address calories from the diet end of things. Mm-hmm. Than it does from the exercise. And, that whole, like, you can't outrun a bad diet or you can't outrun a loaf of bread, that whole thing. I'm going to give you some numbers and they're really kind of cruel. But yeah, burning that many calories a day is very difficult. So let's destroy some hopes and dreams, shall we? That's what we're here to do. So why do we hate burpees, right? Why do we hate burpees? Because they're hard and they make us feel ungainly. So I'm going to use burpees as our standard here because that's hard. That's what we think of as like the hardest exercise. Like name the exercise you hate most, burpees, top of the list. Every person pretty much, right? So if you're 120 pounds, if you're like a tiny person, a single burpee burns 0.95 calories. One burpee. So think about that. I'll give you one calorie. We'll round it up. Okay. Now, if you're 210 pounds, A 210-pound person, 1.67 calories approximately per burpee. It goes up 0.08. I told you I was going to hit you with math. 0.08 of calories per pound, per 10 pounds of body weight. So, okay, a typical burrito.
So it's very small amount of calories. You're telling me it's very tiny, less than 1, maybe 2.
giving you two, being generous that
Right.
each burpee burns 2 calories. How many calories are in a super burrito, like a real burrito? You're talking about 2,000 calories.
So how many burpees? I can't do that much math in my head, man. How many burpees is that? 2,000?
Burrito divided by burpee, right?
1,000? 1,000?
1,000 burpees, dude. I teach boot camps. It's literally my job to do burpees, and I don't do 1,000 burpees like in a year. Okay, so I want that to like make sense, right? That's kind of like soul crushing, right? But I have better news. And to break it down a little bit more, I did this with somebody the other day, or a couple months ago. Like, she was grabbing a Reese's peanut butter cup, just one Reese's peanut butter cup every time she walked out of the kitchen, several times a day, right? That's 115 calories. Not the end of the world, but that's 58 burpees for her. That was a lot of burpees.
That's pretty sick, man.
Right. Okay. So makes way more sense. Now, there's good news, right? Humans burn, depending on gender, activity level, weight, and diet, meaning the more you eat, the more you burn. And yes, that's a real thing. Anywhere between 1,200 to well over 2,500 calories a day. Just being upright, just living. Okay. So yay, right? Burrito equals one day of doing nothing now. But so I just want people to kind of have this in their head, how this actually works. Like, your exercise, while important and while giving us lots of other really awesome benefits from the calorie end of things, it is not the place to concentrate necessarily. Now, if you love working out and you're like, yes, dude, I like working out 2 times a day. Yeah, that's gonna give you a significant calorie boost, right?
Right. But most times it's going to be no.
Right. So know that you're burning calories. Be sensible about how many calories you need to burn and how it happens. That's my whole takeaway. I hope that was.
No. I think it was good. I also wrote down some more math, but I don't think I need to add into it. We don't need to make it more sciencey, right?
Probably not.
I think that was great. I think that was great. So a couple of Reese's equals basically 60 burpees. That's a significant eye opener, right? Or it should be, at least I hope so.
Right. Who the hell wants to do 60 burpees right now?
I don't want to do 4. I don't want to do anything.
Exactly. Okay. Again, I don't want the takeaway to be that, like, that exercise is just simply not worth it. It is. It totally is. But it just, we need to be realistic about what exactly it's doing. We have to be real.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree completely. And, like, I know like a lot of people are fans of tracking calories, and I know that you're not, and I'm not. It kind of sucks. It's time consuming, and it generally takes away from the rest of life and the joy that we get out of food. And you get kind of stuck focusing on the numbers, rather than, enjoying your experiences. So I kind of think an easy way to manage that calorie intake and promote that weight loss is to focus on kind of eating whole. Minimally processed foods, don't eat anything in a box or a bag, get enough fiber, protein, and healthy fats.
Right. Yeah. I think focusing on the quality of your food more than the quantity of it actually is the place to focus. I think that's the thing.
100%. And I really do. I really do. Now, that's not to say that tracking isn't a powerful thing to do, because it is, and people who do it are generally get a lot better results. That's not me saying that. There's research, and it's me saying that. That's anecdotal, and it's research. There's tons of data out there. There's a reason why people are tracking. There's apps and all sorts of stuff, and that's real.
Yes.
But again, it goes back to that quality of food over a quantity of calories.
Right. And there's more to it, right? Like, I mean, we talk a lot about, like, people overdo that part of it a lot, right? If you go too far into the calorie deficit, it's a big problem. Yeah, you want to actually be quite close to your basal metabolic rate, right? That rate of, like, how many calories you burn in a day, just being alive, right? You want to stay pretty close to that, really.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because what happens when we go way low?
Your metabolism tanks, right? We really tend to think of things, we've talked about this, the calorie thing as, like, simply calories in and calories out, and that's it. Like, it works like a gas tank for your car, and it's not totally true, right? Our bodies 100%. Like, have all kinds of regulating mechanisms in them. This weight loss is very much hormonally driven, and if you turn those mechanisms into, set those mechanisms off, they go, oh, whoa, we're going to start burning much less calories because you're not putting enough in. We're going to die here, right? That's what the body thinks.
Vitamins, minerals, fiber, protein, all those things. Everything is super important.
Yep. And your body is watching. And so it's really important to understand, like, if you shock your body into thinking that, whoa, we're not getting enough and we're only going to last this long if we keep going this way, your body's going to start conserving your energy. And that's a bad thing. Really bad.
It is a bad thing. Because what's conserving energy? Creating fat, burning less. Right. So a little bit ago, you were talking about your, just at rest, you can burn X amount of calories depending on gender, height, age, weight, etc. But let's say somebody is very consistent. They stay the same weight. They're the same age, the whole year, obviously. They are, whatever. Everything's very specific. They've been like the same for a while. They go on this ultra restrictive diet. Their metabolism is going to crash. Then they're going to burn even less calories. They're going to feel more sluggish. They're going to put on more fat. Even though they're being skinny, they're going to be what's called skinny fat, right? Or they might put on extra fat and they don't know what's going on. I'm putting on all this weight. What's happening to me? I'm only eating 1,000 calories a day.
Super frustrating, right? It's the biggest, the most, like, it's the worst, right?
Obviously, I just spit out like 6 stories of the last 5 people I spoke to. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
Right. And that's the culprit. We restrict too much, and then your metabolism slows by, a crazy amount. I think people really underestimate how much your metabolism can slow down if you do this. Really not good. You can go from burning 2,000 calories a day just being alive to burning well under 1,500, 1,400. I think about
too low.
That's a big deal.
It's too low.
Yeah.
That's an issue.
Right.
Yeah. And then you can't eat it. Doesn't matter. I don't need to get into all the craziness.
Right. And then the exercise doesn't help. That's the other part of it.
Yeah. And then it's stressful on your body because you can't recover fast enough because you don't have all these things that you need to have. We could go on and on for this. I could go on and on. I'm like limiting myself.
Okay.
Okay.
So, like, I always like to give people things to do, but this is really kind of a tough one. This one's really much more about information, and I think people really got it right. The answer to this question totally does depend on your goals, right? Exercise or diet. Like, are people who have, like, come a long way with their diet and they're doing a lot of the right stuff and they're kind of trying to get to that, to look more athletic, things like that. Yeah. That's when you're going to start hitting things really hard with exercise.
Yeah.
You agree with that? I think those are
but even like somebody who looks very athletic, who is in great shape and they're doing all these things because of their athleticism.
Right.
It's easy to look at that type of person and say, oh, they're in good shape because that's how they, they work out all the time.
Right.
What about the other side of it? No, it's probably not because they just work out, for 2 hours a day. That's their training. There's probably because of what they're eating on the back end. It's the other things that you don't see.
Right. People don't post videos of them eating healthy meals, really.
Right.
We do in this group, kind of, but right. You don't see that, right? Chris Hemsworth is not posting videos of him eating the salad that his personal chef made for him. And that's
because his money comes from showing his workout app or whatever. Right. So they're going to show him working out, and that's how he stays in shape. Not true.
Not true. Totally not true. Yes, it's how he gets gigantic muscles and blah, 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 but it's not how he keeps his body fat down. It's not. So,
that was perfect. It's the blah, blah, blah. That is exercise. Exercise is fantastic for a lot of things and blah, blah, blah.
I know that was really scientific from
I know. I loved it though. Honestly, I loved it. I did it. But yeah.
I know we're doing this in the middle of the day and people will be watching this later. So please, post your questions about this, whether you agree or disagree, go ahead, come at me. Because I want to hear about that stuff. But if it makes sense, or if it doesn't, let me know. I want to hear about it and I want to have that conversation. Absolutely. Let's get out of here. Right.
Okay. Yeah. I do want to throw away a couple things. I know I said it in the beginning, but you mentioned that your big takeaway was just know the benefits and it's education. Yeah. And I know, but I wanted to put out a little bit more than that. Like, so if you're going for weight loss, your number one thing, I really truly believe you need to attack both of those things, but number one important, clean your diet up.
Yes. Thank you.
Clean that diet up.
100%.
And on the other hand, like if you like how you feel and you're feeling good about what you look like, maybe you can wean back on your exercise a little bit. You don't have to go to the gym 6 times a week to get the results that you want. Just, again, clean that diet up.
We've told people this, right? Like we've actually given that that advice before, right? Stop hitting the gym twice a day. It's torturing you. You hate it. You're miserable.
Right.
Stop.
And also, sometimes when, depending on age and gender specifically, if you're going to the gym too often, it's going to be stressful on your body.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're doing the wrong exercise, it's going to be stressful on your body. Right. And that in turn creates fat. We talked about this a few weeks ago.
Right. The stress thing. Yeah. Check that talk out, by the way, if you missed it, because that was really, really powerful and important.
Very
powerful. Stress on the body and weight loss. Okay. We're getting out of here. Guys, I love you. The group has been super supportive lately. A lot of posts, a lot of a lot of familiar faces have jumped back in, which I love seeing. And so the biggest thing for me is, keep lifting each other up. Okay. Post when you're succeeding, post when you feel like you're not succeeding. Okay. Ask the questions, do all those things and reach out to each other. That's really what this group is for. If you have a question for Nick or myself, tag us in the post. Do that. Put our name there. We are happy to get in there. We get tons and tons and tons of notifications. So, if you don't tag us, there's a chance I won't see something. So put my name in there. Okay.
Samesies.
All right, Nick, it is time to go. All right, guys, we're out of here. I love you. Cheers.